What do we do with Stephen A. Smith?
To my liberal friends out there, all you're doing is showing that you're scared you can't beat them.
Sometimes he makes so much sense about the things that he says when he shares his political views, although I think sometimes he is not really for Trump, but he knows that Trump was a better candidate, and he does notice that the Democrats are in a bad position, that they cannot win.
Trump's going to get reelected. Donald Trump's going to be the next president of the United States. If this kind of stuff that I'm reading continues to happen in American cities, Donald Trump is a shoo-in for reelection.
However, he doesn't seem to have the ability to stand firm on his conviction.
I hate this bastard. Not even, far more than a little bit. He is the worst human being any of you will ever meet. You get within a mile of his presence. Wrap your arms around yourself to protect your soul. He is Cain. He is a devil. The worst.
You're embarrassing yourself.
Maybe he's afraid of the mob. Maybe it's because of the color of his skin. Maybe because he was told, because you are black, you got to vote Democrat. I don't necessarily know. I just don't know what to do with him. I think his conviction, I think his words are true, but the position that he takes as far as a man making a decision for what he believes is also very weak. So he came out recently and said a number of things on the Hannity show, which I thought was really good. But right after that, he had to come back with an apology video because the Dems got upset at him. And you know, when the mob get mad, you better crawl on your knees. So this is what he said on the Hannity show.
Black folks, he's hearing that black folks find him relatable because what he's going through is similar to what black Americans have gone through. He wasn't lying. He was telling the truth. When you see the law enforcement, the court system, and everything else being exercised against him, it is something that black folks throughout this nation can relate to with some of our historic, iconic figures. We've seen that happen throughout society. So no matter what race, what ethnicity you may emanate from, we relate to you when you're suffering like that because we know we have. And that's what he articulated.
I agree. In part, I agree. I'm not saying everything he said here is 100% true, but there are a number of blacks who can relate to Donald Trump. Okay, they can relate to Donald Trump because they see what's happening to Donald Trump has happened to their family members, has happened to their fathers, has happened to their sons, by a system that sometimes does abuse the law in a way that is not balanced toward black people. It happens toward other people as well. Don't get it twisted, but it's just that what is happening to Trump, if you just take a look at it, put the political stuff aside, put the partisan stuff aside, just take a minute and look at it on face value. Is that correct? The way they are trumpeting these supposed charges against them, these allegations and these indictments, when you examine the nature of these things and what is being said, you're like, you guys are doing too much. However, some people were not happy with Stephen A. Smith. They had to give him a piece of his mind. Let's just put it that way. and he had to come back and apologize, which I'm like, why are you apologizing? You spoke the truth, you know? But anyway, this is what some of the TikTokers had to say.
Stephen A. Smith has apologized for remarks last week suggesting that Donald Trump was receiving support from the black community because we relate to his legal woes.
A lot of folks in black America seem pretty pissed at me right now. For that, I sincerely apologize.
But it wasn't really an apology.
My words were misconstrued, that my words were taken out of context, misrepresenting and depicting me in a way I found every bit as insulting and disrespectful as folks in black America evidently felt about what they thought I said.
I respect Stephen A. and the platform that he's built, but I respectfully disagree with him here. First off, let's talk about the simple statement that black people can relate to former President Donald Trump based on discrimination by the judicial system. He's not being discriminated against. So what Donald Trump did was make bad decisions, and because of those bad decisions, he's now been investigated, he's now been accused, alleged, and then now prosecuted.
So I did an earlier video about Stephen A. Smith, then I took it down because I didn't feel like that I conveyed it correctly. And really what I want to say is, why do you have to have an opinion about everything? Like, why are you, Stephen A. Smith, successful by all measures? Why are you going on Fox News? Why are you going on Hannity? And why are you comparing Trump's legal situation to that of the plight of black Americans? Insane. Like, it doesn't even make sense.
Stephen A. Smith in this video now, he's going to apologize. And at the same time, while he is going to say he's sorry for what he did and what he said, he turns around and showed a number of facts. Again, I don't know why this is happening. I'm not sure it's because he's afraid of losing the black card. I'm not sure if this is about money because he works for Disney and USBN and so on. And most of these people are liberal, right? They're more on the side of the left. Now, the political divisiveness in this country is so bad that if you're going to share your opinion about policies that has to do with politics in any way, you have to stand your ground. It's best you don't speak at all if you cannot stand for what you believe. And I came to the conclusion that I believe what I believe, right? I believe what I believe. If I'm wrong, I'll change that perception down the road. But as of right now, when I look at the condition of our society and what's happening in the world, in the country as a whole, I see Trump as a solution to that. Is he the solution? No. Jesus is the solution for the world today. No single man has all the answers. But not acknowledging that there could be some change, some hope, something positive in the administration of Trump is, to me, it's just pure dishonesty, because the country as a whole was in a much better condition under Trump than it is under Biden. If you cannot admit that, well, there's something wrong with that thinking. There's something wrong with this worldview. However, here in this video, we're going to listen to Stephen A. Smith kind of apologizing and at the same time defending his prior position, which I'm like, which one is it, brother? Anyway, friends, link in the description below. Like and subscribe to the page. Click the bell icon for more. If you happen to be new to the channel, let's spend some time together and see what's going on here.
I wanted to touch on something that I made news about just a few days ago. Let me say this, ladies and gentlemen. Accountability is where everything needs to begin in this world. It's something I say quite often. I certainly never hesitate to hold folks accountable when mistakes or mishaps occur, so I'm certainly not about to run from it myself. I'm fully aware that I've been in the news over the last few days, paraded all over social media as well, after comments I made during my appearance on Fox News' Hannity last week with the one and only Sean Hannity himself. And I'm fully aware of the outcry that has ensued because of it. A lot of folks in Black America seem pretty pissed at me right now, from friends and loved ones to colleagues, contemporaries, and dare I say even the NAACP itself. Quite a few folks were put off, if not flat out offended, after my words were interpreted as associating support for Trump from the black community with all the legal issues he's facing. For that, I sincerely apologize. To be clear, my words were misconstrued.
Why are you apologizing for telling the truth? You should never apologize for telling the truth. It doesn't matter if people misconstrued your word. You can come back with a video and explain what you meant, but stand for what you believe. Do not apologize whenever you speak the truth, because what you are acknowledging here is that you're saying you were wrong, and you are also giving in to their emotional outburst. By so doing, it shows that you are a weak man. You lack conviction. And when you do stuff like this, next time you speak, your words will be of little value to people like myself. So what you say is what you say. What you believe is what you believe. Stand your ground. But the problem is that when you are owned by some of these people, they pay your bills. They threaten to take away your job. That's what happens. You see, that's why the cancel culture and the censorship gurus of our society, who are determined to take you down by any means necessary, they are a scary group. And if you don't have the backbone to welcome the opposition and deal with their responses, you might as well not share your opinion on matters that you know that are very controversial. You might as well stay quiet and just, talk about NBA, talk about the dunks and the three, the layups. Let's talk about the stats, because that's just fine. But if you're going to touch these matters and you have a lot to lose and you know you're not ready to lose them, just be quiet. Nobody's going to be upset at you for not having an opinion. Anyway, let's keep going. Just saying.
I'm stating right here for the record that my words were taken out of context, misrepresenting and depicting me in a way I found every bit as insulting and disrespectful as folks in Black America evidently felt about what they thought I said. But I'll own it anyway. Because please know that I know the buck stops with me. I'm in the communication business. I've been here for 30 years, so regardless of whatever interpretation that accompanies any words coming out of my mouth, the responsibility ultimately lies with me first and foremost before anybody else. I've always felt that way. I still do. I always will. Period.
Wait, but sometimes what you say could be misconstrued, as you've stated very clearly. It can be taken out of context. It can be misunderstood, because different people are approaching what you've said with different perception, emotion, and understanding. They're not always going to interpret your position in the way that you intended. So you're supposed to apologize because of the way people actually had a perception about your word. Do you know how many times I've preached sermons that a large number of the people agreed? I've also preached sermons where people got up and walked out. I've preached sermons where people made videos just to condemn what I've said. You know what I will never do? I will never apologize. If I preach what I preach from the Word of God, and I read it from the Word of God, I will never apologize. I will apologize for my attitude, my mannerism, my sidebar comments. I will apologize for that. I will apologize for false interpretation and misunderstanding of the message at the time. But I do not apologize for preaching the truth. And if you are speaking the truth, speak the truth, brother. Anyway, I don't know. Men like this troubles me. I say men like this is bad for a country, for a nation, because they have influence, right? And they end up creating weak men. They end up creating men with no backbones whatsoever. It is feckless to me that you know this to be true and you have a conviction and you've spoken the facts for what they are, and then you have to come back and apologize? Like, what is wrong with you? Anyway, let's keep going. This guy, man.
Blacks who refuse to support Trump are aware of his history of issues. And we'll never forget how Trump claimed Obama, the nation's first black president, wasn't even qualified to hold office because he was born in Kenya, although Trump recanted the statement during his 2016 campaign run for the presidency. Yet Trump's dissenters were not the topic of discussion when I was talking to Hannity. The support he appears to be receiving in the polls was what was being discussed. 5 polls, count them, 5. Emerson, NBC News, Daily Kos, New York Times, and Rasmussen, all big national polls had Trump leading over the last few weeks. Plus, according to 538, recent local polls also put Trump ahead in battleground states. He's up 6 points in Michigan, Arizona, and Georgia each. Insofar as Trump gaining support in the black community, well, how about various publications with these headlines? The Chicago Tribune: this time Trump really does seem to be making black voter inroads. Why? The Washington Post: voters of color are shifting right. Are Democrats doomed? How about the New York Times? As black voters drift to Trump, Biden's allies say they have work to do. Axios wrote: big Biden bummer. New York Times Siena poll shows gaps with key demographic groups. Wall Street Journal, Biden loses support among black men. The Hill, Biden losing support among black voters in swing states. Survey. Al Jazeera, why are black voters backing Donald Trump in record numbers? And CBS News, black voter support for Trump up from 4% to 23%, poll finds. Why did I say all of that? Because I want to show you I didn't just open my mouth. I read, I listened, and I've seen a momentum shift, as we all have. Anywhere I appear, no matter my subjectivity relating to what I feel, is still going to be based on facts being presented into the stratosphere.
Oh my Lord, this guy is killing me. Like, this is so disturbing. It's not frustrating so much to me. I understand because I've seen him doing this all the time. Like, yo, you just read to me all these evidences that you it's happening. Okay, there's a momentum that's shifting. Black people are opening more to the conservative party. They are looking at Trump. I don't want to say conservative. Listen, MAGA, black MAGA. Okay, forget it. It's happening with Hispanics. It's happening with blacks. It's happening with a lot of people, independents. It's happening with a whole bunch of us, okay? Even the Christians are waking up, including myself. Let me say this. You just read to me the facts because that's what they are. You spoke the truth. You made a connection to Trump and his experience with, being persecuted and how much that relates to black people. This may not be true for all black folks, but a large amount, I would say 20 something or 30% of black people can actually testify to that. It is true. So you spoke the truth. You may not have spoken the truth totally, holistically, but you spoke enough truth here that you don't need to feel sorry about. And when you come out with a video and apologizing, I said, what are you doing? So anyway, I'm taking this matter somewhere else. So I'm going to let him finish and then we'll come back and share a final thought.
Based on facts being presented into the stratosphere. That is who I've always been. It is what I will always continue to be.
Okay.
But it's never exercised with malice in my heart and soul. Certainly never to insult or harm the black community, my community. My thoughts are put out there to present views I believe are pertinent, that alerts us to what's going on, what missteps may be taking place, and how, if at all, they could be corrected.
Well, the thing is, what you spoke about was the truth. And the reason people got offended is because you spoke the truth. And the man, as influential as you are, they will rather have you stay quiet. Because people are offended doesn't necessarily mean you were wrong. Like, I could not preach anything and say anything or share my view. If you're not willing to challenge people's way of thinking, you have no reason to exist. What's the point? Anyway, goodness.
I hope everyone can understand and appreciate my intent, if nothing else, as we march forward right here with the Stephen A. Smith Show. But just because my intent was harmless doesn't mean my words were harmless, and I know that. I can always do better, and I'll strive to do just that every single day that I'm alive.
Oh, goodness, it's killing me. All right, I could say a lot, but I've already shared my opinion on this guy. But I'll tell you this one. There is a man named Dale Carnegie. Some people call him Carnegie. Anyway, he had in the book How to Win a Friend, and I love the one statement that he said. He said, a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. And there you're looking at it. To me, it's like, say what you say, believe what you believe, stand your ground. You may be wrong for the moment. There is a growing aspect to every understanding. You don't have to feel sorry for speaking the truth, for sharing your conviction. I've been convicted of things before that were wrong. When I had a change of perception, I changed my position and come up with a new conviction. That's okay. That's called being human. But when you're reading straight articles, facts in your face, evidence that cannot be refuted from the news, you're seeing videos, they're making song, Black MAGA. And then you have to come back and apologize because some people got offended because you spoke the truth, as if there's something wrong with you having an opinion. You have the right and the freedom of speech. You are protected in this country to tell us what you think. We care about what you have to say. But what you should not be doing is this. And by doing this, you lose confidence with people. It shows that you are a charade. You're an actor. You are just a front man. You are playing a political game. You're here for the views. You are trying to get the clicks and the thumbnails and the viewership. That's what you are about. This is what we begin to think, and I'm hoping that I am wrong. Here is the thing, and I'm not here to criticize Smith. I just think people like this. Listen, I would rather have you being far left or far right than to be in the middle doing what is known as, like the Bible calls lukewarm, right? Lukewarm. There is lukewarmness in politics as well, so, but I think what Psalms chapter 15 says is where I want to run with this matter. Psalm 15 said it this way. In Psalms 15 verse 1, the question was asked by the psalmist, Lord, who shall abide in your tabernacle? Who shall dwell in your holy hill? And the Lord says this, he that walketh uprightly and worketh righteousness. And I love the next words, who speaks the truth in his heart. God loves that. He loves when a man speaks the truth in his heart, stands boldly for his conviction. It doesn't matter what a person chooses to do when it comes to that. It's just that when you know the truth for what it is, you stand for it. Now, if you didn't know, as at one time I didn't know, I didn't realize what was going on. I had no perception of how much the world has changed, society has changed, ideologies have changed. I can understand you stayed in the middle until your conviction is solid. But once you know the facts for what they are and evidence that cannot be refuted is in your face, irrefutable facts, and then you spoke these facts and then you come back to apologize, I said, man, that's just something wrong with your manhood, man. I don't know. Where do you stand when it comes to this? I hope I'm not beating on him a little bit too much. But
let me say it like this for you, Stephen. There's no going back, because these black shuckers and jivers don't give a damn. They'll let Joe Biden say racist stuff. They'll let Joe Biden continue to destroy your community. They'll let Joe Biden do whatever he wants to because he's a Democrat and he's on their team. So no matter what he says, it's okay. And no matter what Trump says, it's bad, whether we like it or not. I just want to know, if they're going to hold you accountable, when are they going to hold the black shuckers and jivers for the Democrat side accountable for their actions and their words? Or should I say lack of actions, considering our communities are full of drugs, crimes, and poor education? But we elected them.
Yeah. Share your thought and perspective with me. I think it's best to end this video. Like and subscribe to the page. Click the bell icon for more. Until next time, have a good one. Bye.
And I'm fully aware of the outcry that has ensued because of it. For that, I sincerely apologize.
That doesn't make any sense.